Welcome back, and joining us on the show now is Sandeep Bhan, CEO, Sime Darby Oil Trading, and he joins us live right now. Sandeep, hi, good to have you. And there's just so many headlines that keep coming in from the edible oil as a sector. To start with, the kind of run-up that we saw in the palm oil prices and then some stability, perhaps even some correction. How are you reading the prices to begin with?
Prices have reached to its peak now in palm oil. Basically, we are now trading $40 above soybean oil and $70 above sunflower oil. So that way, palm is at its peak, and palm is now coming into the seasonally higher production months, which will start by end of March, and early April we should start production picking up. So palm will have to look after it, the market share that we have lost in last 2-3 months when palm was peak and the stocks were very low. We basically lost a lot of markets to soybean oil and sunflower oil.
Oh, well, absolutely. And that can be seen in the numbers as well, Sandeep, because for the month of Jan and Feb, we've seen a 36% of a decline when it comes to palm imports. I mean, do you see this as an aberration, or do you think this will change as we move ahead in months?
So in next couple of months, we will see these numbers continuing. Like India in February imported only 500,000 tons of palm oil. That was basically, India didn't buy palm oil, and India bought palm oil for the month, India bought soybean oil for the month of April, May, June in anticipation that palm oil will fall in the nearby months, which created a sort of a gap in India arrivals of oil. And now India stepped into palm oil buying heavily in last few weeks, and that pushed the prices to its peak. Now, in coming months, India has bought enough of soybean oil at cost of palm oil, which is going to keep palm arrivals into India till June low. But we should see palm getting back to the peak of its Indian demand, that's close to 800,000 to 900,000 tons a month from July onwards.
All right. Sandeep, as you mentioned that you think that the palm oil prices have reached their peak. I mean, if we are looking at a correction from here, how much and until when?
So short term, we might say it won't be that big of a correction. We will have to adjust to the new reality of prices being above 4,000 ringgit in the futures market of Bursa Malaysia derivatives exchange.
Also, Sandeep, when you look at the Indian markets as well, and we've seen the first palm processing facility open up in AP, how do you look at the in-country developments as well when it comes to palm? I understand it's smaller, it's delayed, it perhaps will pick up from here. But going forward, if there's a visibility of, let's say, 1 to 3 to 5 years, how would you look at India's production itself?
Definitely, India is coming up in the National Oil Seeds Mission, and we do see a lot of investments going into the oil palm sector. And we are, in fact, in our company, is one of the supporters of India's National Oil Seed Mission by selling our seeds to the Indian planters. And this production is going to come up in coming years. It's only going to grow.
Sandeep, also, what's your sense on the overall Indian demand going forward? We do understand that there's a huge mustard crop, and the prices here as well are trading 10% below MSP, while the Indian government believes that NAFED will come in and support buying more than double of what it did last year. But how are you looking at the overall prices for the rival oils and especially mustard?
So we don't see actually the shortfall in the demand from India. Basically, it's a switching of oils from palm oil to sunflower oils, sunflower to soybean oil. This switching is going to continue, but overall 1.2, 1.3 million tons of oils is going to flow into India.
Point taken. That, Sandeep, thank you so much for joining us. So, well, yes, the Malaysian palm oil or the palm oil prices have continued to trade on a higher side. It's trading at a multi-month highs as we speak. But Indian demand has declined because we've moved on to cheaper edible oil rivals, actually. And that really seems to be keeping the Indian inventories at much higher levels there. But with that, that's all the time that we have on Halftime Report. Business Lunch will take all the action forward.